The Washington Commanders are still dancing after beating the Detroit Lions in Detroit, 45-31. We've got your instant reaction right here on Ref the District.
Yeah, it's Ref the District. Come on now and join us.
Let's go.
Hail to the Commanders! Hail victory! Hail to the Commanders! Fight for OPC! Yeah! Yeah!
We deserve this. Nathan,
what was this? Oh my goodness!
We deserve this.
Oh,
We deserve this.
absolutely wonderful. Let's catch our breath.
Better.
It is a late night. Washington Commanders upset the Detroit Lions. Washington goes into this game 9.5-point underdogs, beats them by double digits. And you would have had a fantastic time in your pocketbook if you would have head over to Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source of online betting in 2025. If you're a seasoned fan, first-time bettor, just head over to Bet Online for your ultimate game day companion. The largest selection of odds, everything football, NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. BetOnline is the number one sports betting source for the new year. Touchdowns, three-pointers, hat tricks. BetOnline has you covered in every way, every play, and every Washington Commanders win.
Unbelievable.
BetOnline, the game starts here. Tell you to bet responsibly all the time. There you go. There's your ad break. Moving on, Washington Commanders led by one rookie, Jaden Daniels, 22 of 31, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks.
What
He
was
also
his
had
rating?
16 carries, 51 yards on the ground. Brian Robinson, 15 carries, 77 yards, 2 tutties. Jeremy McNichols getting in the touchdown action as well today. De'Ami Brown follows up a good wild card game with a great game today. De'Ami Brown, 6 receptions, 98 yards, no touchdowns, but it was on 8 targets. Terry McLaurin, 4 catches on 6 targets, 87 yards, and a monster touchdown, 58 yards. Defense, I know it doesn't sound good, 31 points up there, but got 3 interceptions and a fumble off of Jared Goff today. Kudos to the rookie Mikey Sandristil for getting 2 interceptions today.
Unbelievable.
That is how you take down a number 1 seed. That is how you take down a team that is heavily favored against you, that we talked about on Wednesday. We had no right beating them. We knew it, but we're playing with house money.
House money.
We're a team of destiny. Anytime, anywhere, anyone, we're going to take you on with 5 or alive. Jaden Mother Truckin' Daniels gonna win that one for us.
Nathan, I know you're probably blew your load right there already, man. You're so hyped. And if you could have seen us before the show started, Nathan was losing his freaking mind. He was screaming up a storm, and I was getting into it as well, but Nathan was losing it. But it's amazing what we are witnessing right now, Nathan, not just with the Commanders, but Jaden Daniels. Let's just say this. Maybe I'm a little high on life right now, but Jaden Daniels is the greatest rookie quarterback in the history of the NFL. That's one. And number 2, he is the number 1 quarterback in the NFC right now, and he's top 5 overall right now. Jaden Daniels is. What a performance. What an absolute masterclass in how to whoop a team's butt up and down the field all day long. One punt. Now, they only punted once as well, but you had 4 turnovers. The defense did. What an amazing performance by this football team.
Talking about the best rookie of all time right now, Jordan Schultz, Fox Insider, had a text from an NFL GM. Yeah. Jaden Daniels is already one of the most poised quarterback in the entire NFC. I've never seen anything like this for a rookie. Yeah. Talked quite a bit about that on the broadcast today as well, about his poise, about nothing shaking him. And He just went out there and absolutely dominated a Detroit defense that has had issues this year, that has had a lot of a lot of people missing. But early on in the game, they showed you the statistics. It's even with all those people missing, they've had people step up and they've been a good defense. This is a Detroit team that was 200 points point differential on the positive side, and Washington won. One of the keys to the game, I was texting our boys here in the chat. Detroit was known, like statistically speaking, Detroit has great second and third quarters. That's when they put the game away. That's when they put things over. Washington in the second quarter, 28 points.
28 points. What did they score? Like 14? It was 28-14, I believe.
Yeah, and they scored 7 in the third quarter. I loved that third quarter, Stoner, where I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. I love that third because they were doing our job for us. We went into that game, that second half with a lead. We wanted the clock to bleed. Yeah. And there's Detroit just going on this super long drive with the hopes, by the way, that they would score a touchdown, get a stop, and things would be a little closer. And Jaden Daniels said, nah, not gonna happen. Now, forgive me, we are now 6 minutes into this, and I haven't even talked to our fantastic people here as we're live right after the game. Awesome. We appreciate everybody jumping in. Have a lot of people who've been waiting for this. We have Ebby or E-Boy Poker, Scooby from across the pond, TJ, Gary, who's an Eagles fan, who says, Eagles fan here, love your show. I was rooting for the Lions because I didn't want to play the Commanders. Well, they still have to play the Rams. We have to wait to see who we are going to play. Where are we going? Are we going to go to Arizona? Likely, right? If with the Flyers happening in LA, or are we going to head up to the link for game 3?
Nathan, anybody, anywhere, anytime.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Dominic here, VA, PCC. We got Luis, we got Teddy, we got Al Capone, we got Captain Obvious with the super chat already. Making fun of those Detroit fans here. Detroit has soul. Same old underachieving Lions. Good. So one of the things that we did not get to here, Doug in the chat, Jay in the chat, PNW as well, Gus Bus as always. We appreciate y'all. Sean as well. We didn't get to this on Wednesday, Stoner. All right. But we kept receipts. And I'm looking forward to cashing those in this week. A lot of Detroit pods, of Detroit fans. We're talking mad smack. Bring on the rookie. Oh, this is going to be an easy game. Go ahead.
They were so happy, Nathan, that Washington won that game. And that means that they were going to face a rookie quarterback. And all they were saying is, if there's anything, we want to face the rookie quarterback. But what they just didn't know. I kind of forgive them because they just didn't know. Mm-hmm. Now, we tried to tell them this rookie's a little different than what you would think of a normal rookie. This is an all-time great rookie and soon to be a Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl champion rookie quarterback. They just didn't know. And we kept receipts, and we'll be hitting them up all week. Don't you worry. We're gonna let them know that because they got mad at us. They thought we were unfairly clipping their videos and putting it out there and not giving the full context. But still, when you say, hey, rookie, bring your ass here, you're just inviting. Again, the greatest rookie quarterback in the history of the NFL. What a game. What a week, Nathan. And I was going to tell this story that a lot of people probably don't know this, but I grew up in Michigan. I grew up a Lions fan for when I was young. I went to Lions games, right, with my family. My entire family lives in Michigan, except for one sister who's down in Georgia. But still, I had family at the game. I had 2 cousins at the game. My phone blew up all week long with trash talk from all my cousins, my sisters. My 80-year-old father was trash talking me. He said, come get your ass whooping like you're supposed to, right? Now It's quiet. Look, Nathan, it's quiet. There's nothing. Hello,
It's
hello.
not going to be
Anybody
quiet for
there?
long. You're going to be buzzing
Nobody.
that phone up here in a little bit.
I'll be getting him. I'll be getting after him because that was again, I said it earlier, that was a masterful, perfect performance by Jaden Daniels. He did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. He was so perfect in this game. And then you would say, oh, lucky rookie. Oh, he had a good game. He's been doing it all year. He's been this way all year long. It's why he's going to be rookie of the year. It's why he's going to be a future MVP. It's why he's going to be a future Super Bowl champion, maybe this year. A lot of people said it. Our friend on the Sports Junkies, Eric Bickle, EB, said if they win this game, they're winning the whole joint because it's just a team of destiny. It's a team of destiny right now. If you look at all those wins that this team had during the course of the year, all those close wins, a Hail Mary, a last-second win, a last-second knockaway, a last-second field goal, an overtime pass, a last-second pass, a last-second field goal in the playoffs. This is the 6th consecutive game that they've won on the last play of the game, essentially, the last play of the game. But this is the 7th overall consecutive game this team has won. It's a team of destiny. And we deserve it, Nathan. And when I say we, I mean me and you and JG and Teflon Don and Luis and PCC and Roger and Doug and Joe the Hat and IA St. Louis, whatever. DC Dave, First String's in here, of course, First String Podcast.
Appreciate you,
DC Dave, Dominic, so many of y'all. You all deserve this as well. We all deserve this as fans. For 25 years of absolute misery, we deserve this.
And I'm going to echo Blake's sentiment here. This is so much fun. As nerve-wracking as it is, as being the cardiac commanders in this team, for the last 6 weeks, bringing us down to the wire, but then winning, right? It's been exciting. Yeah. I was pacing, and then there was a moment in the game where things just got out of hand, right? and it was from that moment, my nerves kind of went away. I mean, I'll tell you this. I did not sit down for the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah,
I did not think Detroit was going to take this light sitting down. I thought that they were going to try to come back and they were going to do it. So I stood standing. I wasn't going to call game. I kept telling people we were going to win this game, but I kept it as a future tense. I was not saying this game is in hand, but there was a moment mentally, emotionally that I just went, we're going to win this game. And then it was just a matter of waiting for the clock to run out. And as Roger's saying here, we really beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, we kind of did.
I mean, that second quarter was phenomenal. You sit there, you have the Terry McLaurin 50+ yard touchdown run. No shoestring tackle that time.
No.
That guy was just like, see you later, Kirby Joseph. You can go ahead and play in that Pro Bowl. I ain't going to be there.
Yeah.
And then Jameson Williams has a fantastic, touchdown for Detroit Lions. And I think most people would have been like, oh, okay, never mind. This is still a game.
Yeah.
And the Washington Commanders said, no. We'll let you have that long one, but you ain't getting much after that.
Yeah.
It was just insane. Absolutely insane. We got a couple of super chats I'm going to get to here. Teflon Don. Don't know why the boo's happening. No boo birds today. Teflon Don. JD5 is him. Lions are cheeks. Let's go. HTTDR. We appreciate the super chat, Teflon Don. I'm going to hit you a second time here with this one. We get in a Lombardi. Hope Snyder is watching. You got to put $1 in the jar now. I mean, we did just put $4 in, so we'll let you have that one. But yeah, this has got to be the worst thing for that guy sitting on his yacht, knowing that he was what was holding Washington back for so long. We talked about a lot about our feelings and everything. Let's get to the actual game here.
Yeah,
let us know and keep the chat going and keep having some fantastic things here to talk about in this game. Washington goes in this game underdogs. They exit the first quarter down 7-3, but like I said, that second quarter, 28 points in the second quarter. It was a Brian Robinson touchdown run. It was a Terry McLaurin 58-yard pass. It was a Quan Martin, which probably was that turning point.
Yeah.
Quan Martin 40-yard interception return, and then a Zach Ertz 5-yard touchdown pass, which, by the way, that particular drive, couple fourth down magician type stuff from the Washington Commanders. How important was that second quarter to these Washington Commanders?
Well, as I think it goes back a little bit to what Roger was saying when we say we really gave him a beatdown. That second quarter was a beatdown. That was a total domination. Now, they gave up 14 points in that second quarter, but when you can score 3 offensive touchdowns and a defensive touchdown, you're doing it on both sides of the ball. So being able to say, look, if we can rattle Goff, then we have a chance defensively to at least slow them down a little bit. Believe it or not, we held them under their average, their offensive average, which I think was 33.5 points, something like that. And we held them to 31. That's pretty awesome. But getting that pick and letting them know that defensively we're not going away. We may not be the greatest defense, but we're not going away. And the physicality of it, mowing over Jared Goff that Frankie Louvu put on him to get Quan Martin into the end zone. And all of a sudden, for me anyway, that was the point when I said, well, wait a minute here. We might win this thing for me, because in my heart, I thought we could win, but my brain was always like, I don't know how we're going to stop this team. So just being able to not just hang with them in that second quarter, but turn it around. And as you said, Nathan, that's where Detroit normally does that to other teams. And so they were able to do it to Detroit. Again, both sides of the ball was so vitally important.
I'm going to go all 3 phases, as well as Doug mentioning the kickoff coverage was outstanding.
Yeah.
Several times the Detroit, it's kind of funny to talk good about special teams when you have a missed field goal and you have your opening kickoff go out of bounds.
Yeah, right.
Coverage on this one. Tressway had a beautiful punt.
Yeah.
Kept them
with
within
one punt, right?
Yeah, one punt. It's within the 20. It was great. Perfect hang time, no chance to return. The coverage team was there to stop it. The kickoff coverage return routinely stopped Detroit from getting to the 35, which is where they'd get it if it was a touchback, and sometimes even down before the 20. And so like that kind of field position wins games. So special teams showed out today. The defense with the turnovers showed up today. The offense just moving things along. They won the time of possession battle. This is something the coaches talked about. Essentially 1 second off, by the way. So essentially 34 minutes to 26 minutes.
Wow.
Washington.
So it's 35-25, just like last week.
Yeah. There's a comment from Brock in there that talked about the running game, getting it under control. Washington ran the ball 42 times for 182 yards. They did not shy away from running the football today.
No.
They did.
And B-Rob looked fresh. He had some beautiful holes. You could see in that Tampa game that he was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. Well, this one, he wasn't getting hit until he was 5, 6, 7 yards downfield. And that Brian Robinson is a guy that teams need to worry about because he's coming at you full steam. But Brian Robinson that gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. So the offensive line was doing well. Look, they're banged up defensively. Who cares? That's what he did. That's what the team did. They said, look, they're banged up. Let's get Brian Robinson downhill. And they did that. Rushing the ball 42 times is awesome. And they did it so well. And they did it inside. They did it outside. Eckler was going inside. It was a masterclass offensively, not just with Jaden, but Cliff Kingsbury. Wow. What a game that he called. And then Jaden executed it to perfection. And by the way, we can't, that pick six was huge by Quan. right? Obviously huge.
Hey, I said Quan Martin. I like the guy. I was really expecting big things, but he's going out right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely he is. But that interception by Sanderstill at the end of the first half in the end zone, one-on-one with Jamison Williams, which should never happen. You should never have Mikey Sanderstill one-on-one, but he fought, and Goff threw it a little bit behind him, just enough for Sanderstill to catch up, undercut it, and pick it off, keep them from getting points. And then what happens? You get the ball first in the second half, which is just a massive momentum. Think about the difference between going into halftime, leading, they were up 31-21 at halftime, having gotten the interception, knowing you're getting the ball, and then the difference of that, if they had scored there and it's 31-28 and you just gave up a touchdown at the end. The psychological difference is massive. So that was a huge play as well.
Really great play by Mikey there. He undercut that beautifully. The pass was a little underthrown, or wasn't really the only way that was going to get completed. The way that Sanders still cut that off, the only way that gets completed is if it's essentially out of bounds and Williams toe drags the catch. It's the only way that he really makes that. That's how well he undercut that. He played that perfectly, and Goff made a mistake. Real quick on the Luvu hit, talk about it should have been flagged. I guess that apparently QBs are still protected after throwing an interception. I did not know this.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I did not know this. I saw Goff as a guy who could potentially stop Quan Martin from making the end zone, and Luvu doing the right thing, which is popping him. It was I don't think it was a malicious hit. He didn't deliberately spear him with his helmet. He just knocked him. And then they happened to make contact with the helmet. But I loved how the commentators and everybody were kind of focusing on that as, oh, well, it should have been flagged and that would have taken away the pick six. Like Washington would still have the ball.
Yeah. Do you think they're not going to score?
And,
they scored on every possession.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, I don't think that would have mattered. Don't think that would have mattered.
They got a makeup call in the second half when they had the phantom face mask on Fowler when it should have been 4th and 5, but instead they got a free 15 yards. So it usually evens out, and it did in this case as well.
Yeah, absolutely. JG agreeing that interception felt like this. I mean, that and then the Mikey Sanders throw. When you seriously that cannot be said more than enough. Like it was the Quan Martin pick six was fantastic, but then like you said, stopping the Detroit Lions heading into halftime.
Yeah, momentum
was a huge backbreaking thing. Even though Washington didn't capitalize by scoring in the third quarter, the damage was already done, especially as I mentioned, Detroit doing our job for us and running down the clock. Detroit had a great day on the ground, 23 carries for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, fantastic day. 14, 105 yards, was absolutely eating us alive. 61 of those yards did come. So it would have been 140 yards on the ground without Jamison Williams, 61 yard, which is still good. Which is still very, very good. The thing is we talked about how in the playoffs, you have to be able to run the ball and stop the run. Washington today was able to run the ball, and they stopped the run, not via the physicality, Stoner, but by running up the score.
That's right.
Only 23 carries for Detroit today, which is not in their bag. Like they want to be able to run the ball much more than 23 times.
Yeah. That's what we said this week, right? The best defensive player for Washington, and I'm going to say that again so that you know that I didn't misspeak. The best defensive player for Washington has to be Jaden Daniels. And that's exactly what happened because he was so good at not being able to be stopped that Detroit had to go and throw the ball constantly. And Jahmyr Gibbs only had 14 carries. That dude deserved 25 carries the way he was running the ball. He was killing us in that first half, murdering us in that first half. So he had 14 carries for 105 yards. He was averaging 7.5 yards. But if you're behind by 2 scores, you can't be just continue to run the ball. So it was very prophetic what we said about it. It came true that they just had to. Jaden Daniels had to either control the clock or he had to run up the score and force them to throw the ball. And that was the magic potion. 14 carries. They had 23 and Washington had 42 carries. We almost doubled their rushing attempts. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah, Doug pointing out here, there were several times where even though the Detroit running game was doing really well, cute early, good early stops, right, on first down and second down runs led to situations where it was a passing situation. And so Ben Johnson had to tuck his tail in and had to bring out some things here. And that actually leads directly into Ramon here with the super chat. Their offensive coordinator had the nerve to cancel his interview while our GM was on the plane. Payback is a raise hell. HTTC. We appreciate you, Ramon. Still sticking on here. Not bad for some basketball guys, says Captain Obvious.
Awesome.
Teflon continuing here with Stoner's vid with the bag on his head to this. Sandra still.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that last year we were doing shows where I had a bag over my head and it said, I hate it here. That's where we were last year. And now we're here in the NFC Championship game.
Is this Trav texted this to us earlier? Is this real life? Like, is this really happening? We're dominating in the playoffs to head to the NFC Championship game. And Angela as well. Watching this game made me not worry about who wins tomorrow. We got this. Yeah, Washington will not find out who they're going to play until Philadelphia and the LA Rams finish their game. So obviously, we're going to be looking forward to that. We'll be talking about that on Wednesday. We do stream live every Wednesday on YouTube and Facebook at 7:30 Eastern. So you want to join the conversation there. If you're here currently, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with your friends so they can join the conversation live as we're live after every game. We'll be live after the NFC Championship game, no matter what time. EP got home from her play, by the way. She's fantastic in it. Awesome. And she was just like, wait, you're going live now? I was like, yeah, we are. Absolutely. We got to.
And by the way, Nathan, on Wednesday's show, if you're new to the show and all who are here, who are loyal watchers and listeners to this show, we're going to have a really cool guest on the show Wednesday that is a massive Commanders fan, famous. That's right. Famous Commanders fan will be on live with us Wednesday. So make sure you stop by then.
Yeah. Looking forward to that one. That person was going to join us tonight. They weren't home. So they were like, hey, wait, can I just come on Wednesday? Absolutely. Going to do that one. I have a little apple juice with me to go with my water, Brock. So
boring.
Yeah.
Boring water for me tonight.
All right, let's keep talking about this game here. All facets of the game were fantastic, right? Offense today was cooking. I talked about how the running game, 42 rushes, 182 yards. Jaden Daniels doing 16 carries, a lot of design runs. He wasn't nearly as effective today on the ground as far as a box score was concerned.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of effectiveness there where he was opening up holes for Brian Robinson. Austin Eckler with 6 carries, 47 yards himself, where he was just making the defense look silly quite a bit there. And, of course, he had nearly 300 yards, 2 touchdowns as well in the game. We talked a lot about Jaden Daniels already, so try to keep this fairly short. But Jaden Daniels really is where this offense runs through. Is there like a way to describe this that would make sense to somebody who's never watched an NFL game before?
Oh, somebody who's never watched an NFL game? That would be a hard one to explain, because if you want to say that guy who controls the ball for the white and the burgundy and white team on the one side, he's never played in this situation before in his life, and he's only been playing with these guys for one season, they would be like, well, that doesn't seem right, because he's incredible. He's the most incredible thing that I've ever seen on a football field. And for me, somebody who has watched a lot of football and is not a newcomer, he's the most incredible football player I've ever witnessed for my football team, ever in my life. That's how special he is. And what he was able to do in this game, again, was completely dominate the offensive side of the ball. He didn't make a single mistake. Now, he had a couple of throws that maybe were a touch off, but he threw deep balls. He threw intermediate balls. He threw fourth down passes. How many fourth down passes did he have? He had critical third down passes.
3 of 4, by the way, on fourth
3 of
down.
4,
Actually,
and
the
then
next one I was going to get to.
Yeah, and what were they on third down? They were probably pretty close. They were
no, actually, they weren't. 4 of 12.
So 7 of 16 on third and fourth down. I mean, you'd take that.
You'll take that every day of the week.
But I mean, his throw to Ertz on fourth down was amazing. His throw to John Bates, an offensive tackle in the tight end's number, on 3rd and 5 in the fourth quarter when they needed it to keep that clock going, was an incredible throw. He just stands back there and he does whatever he wants. And you mentioned it earlier, Nathan, when they have all of the, he had 16 for 51. Was that his numbers rushing?
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of them were design runs. But not only did he keep the defense off balance because they had to worry about him, and that probably opened a lot of holes, but some of his scrambles were so critical because he was back there and he was in trouble and he was able to get out of a sack and get downfield and get positive yards. And that was essential to this offense as well. But overall, I mean, there's a lot of grades to give out. There's a lot of plays to look at. Detroit obviously made a lot of mistakes on their end. Washington capitalized on some of those mistakes. But overall, I think Roger said it earlier, Washington really gave him the beatdown.
So on that running aspect there was the conversion. He got a first down. I could not believe the cornerback, and they called it out on the broadcast as well. I forget who's the name.
I don't remember who it was. It wasn't
I can't remember who it was, but he literally goes inside and gave Jaden Daniels the out. Like I was just like, if he just sits there and
he doesn't get
Jaden Daniels, it was so clear to everybody and their brother that this play was designed for the run to go one way and Jaden Daniels is going to go to the other way. Whether or not Jaden Daniels ends up with that football, you have to be there for him. Okay. You have to respect that. And the fact that Detroit defender, which somebody hopefully remembers who it is.
It's Terrion Arnold. I looked it up.
Terrion Arnold. Arnold goes inside, and he doesn't go inside very much. He maybe took a step and a half, 2 steps, and that was it. That's all absolutely that we needed there. Absolutely insane. The offense, staying on the offensive side of the ball, Diami Brown, back-to-back games where he had important. Now, he did have a drop, but then he had an amazing catch with the hand covering his face.
How did he do that? How did Diami catch that ball? I have no idea how he caught that ball, but it was an amazing catch. Diami's, like you said, he has really stepped up. I mean, we should start giving him some kind of nickname like Playoff Diami or something. He's nothing. Well, he's okay during the regular season. All of a sudden, you get to the postseason, and he's a star.
You're being generous by saying he's okay. Like he was.
Well, this year he was okay. I mean, he had as many catches this year as he had the first 3 years combined.
Okay.
So I think this year he was okay. He probably had 30 catches this season.
He had 30 catches this season on 40 targets for 300 yards and a touchdown.
That's okay.
I don't know that I classify as that as okay. I mean, that is honestly maybe wide receiver 4 or 5 territory. He is playing like wide receiver 2 here in the playoffs, and he is just absolutely a reason why Washington has won both of these games. Terry McLaurin got his. Zach Ertz was involved, 5 catches on 5 targets, 28 yards and a touchdown. Jamison Crowder, early on, I thought, oh, is this going to be the Jamison Crowder game? Last game, it was the De'Ami Brown game. De'Ami Brown heard me say that and said, nah, it's still my game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was awesome in this game. A lot of these guys, I was thinking about those 4th down plays, right? So they didn't get their very first one, right? On the very first drive that they had the ball. They didn't get the first, I don't remember what the play was that they didn't get it. If
They,
it was a running
downs,
play or...
they turned it over on downs off the Marcus Mariota direct snap.
Oh, yeah. That was a botch play by B-Rob, I think. B-Rob, I think, was going in to push him, and he grabbed Mariota like he was supposed to push him, and Mariota couldn't get his hands on it.
Pitch it back, it looks like,
Yeah, and then by that time it was too late. The defense was there. But the next 3 times, Nathan, that they went for it on 4th down, they were all passes. And they were successful. And Jaden Daniels just goes back there and throws the ball. Sorry, there was one run, the one that you were just talking about, the Terry and Arnold one, where he was watching inside for some reason. His job was outside, and you take that
literally
one step.
One job. Make sure Jaden Daniels doesn't get outside.
But he had a Zach Ertz throw for a 1st down, and he had a Terry McLaurin throw for. How about that Terry McLaurin throw? When you're down, it's 4th and 2 at, I don't know what yard line that was. Maybe it was like the 6-yard line or something like that. And you're going for it. Crazy that that's what this team does. And he just stands back there and says, there's Terry. Whoop. It's insane what they're doing on 4th down. It's insane what they're doing as a football team. This game, again, I probably said it from the beginning, is that it was a masterclass in offensive football. And defensively, they did what they had to do with those turnovers. And here you go.
We're going to talk about the Washington defensive side of the ball, but I wanted to call out Charles here. One, I appreciate you jumping on, Charles. Thank you. Charles says, very hard to beat a team with 20 injuries. LOL. Crying face emoji. Washington is a decent team. Nothing special. When you guys lose the NFC Championship game, can't wait to watch you guys lose. Charles, if you're a Detroit fan, you're just going to have to keep coming up with them excuses. Your coach is crying at the podium right now. Vanguard was telling us.
You were with all those injuries, those 20 injuries or whatever, you won 15 games during the regular season. Now all of a sudden it's a handicap?
Yeah. 15-2, number 1 seed, playing at home, 220 point differential.
Now it's a handicap. You know what?
Is going to come.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that this time. I'm not going after the people who are trying to tweak us and say, oh, I can't wait till you lose the NFC Championship, because we got that from Tampa fans. You're not that good. I can't wait for you to lose next week to the Lions. We got that from a lot of Eagles fans that said we didn't even deserve to be here. We got it from Bears fans. We've gotten it from everybody that says we're not that good and we don't belong here. Well, this team deserves to be in the NFC Championship. They've earned it. They won 14 games this year, Nathan. This is not a 8-9-1 team that just all of a sudden came out of nowhere. This team won 12 games in the regular season and have now won 2 playoff games. Don't give me that this team isn't that good and we've gotten lucky. It's no longer lucky. That's gone. That's gone. This team is damn good. Very, very underlooked. And I appreciate that, because on Wednesday's show, I asked, when are we going to finally just recognize that Washington is a good team? Because everybody puts it on Jaden Daniels, and he really is a special player. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Jaden Daniels is the number 1 reason why we've been successful this season. You didn't hear an argument from me when we said that on Wednesday. My question was, when are we going to realize that this is just a good football team? Yeah. We're not a great football team, but we're a good football team. And this defense, I need your patented patter here, Stoner, because again, on Wednesday, I had talked about how this defense doesn't need to be lights out. Yeah. They need 1 or 2 quality stops. And then Washington will win this football game. And Stoner, I even going one further here. I had a dream last night.
Told you all about this in the
I was
chat.
bring that up. Yeah.
Insane dream. Okay. It felt crazy at the time, but I had a dream Washington was going to win the game 45-28.
That's amazing. And we have receipts for that. He put that out there, not after the game, but during the game.
Yeah. It didn't end up that way. It was 45-31. But I mean, it was crazy that it was even that close that Washington was going to dominate this game. Now, part of that came on the defensive side of the ball. It was 3 or 4 interceptions, 3 against Goff, 1 from Jameson Williams, ill-advised throw, getting Mikey his second interception there, and then also a fumble recovery. This defense was everywhere, though. Luvu with 9 tackles, Chen with 12 tackles. You had 2 sacks on Jared Goff today, but he was under pressure quite a bit. Even if it wasn't ending up in a sack, Stoner, the pressure was getting to him.
Yeah.
We mentioned those early stops on first down or second down where Washington was able to stop the run, and then it forced a passing. When I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but I don't want him throwing the ball 40 times a game. Not when I have Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to have Jared Goff throw it 40 times a game.
Yep. When you've got a good running game and an offensive line like they have, you don't want Jared Goff going back there, because eventually he's a statue back there. He's not going to get out of plays.
He had a couple slow when he was doing that run for the first down.
He had a couple of plays where he moved around and was able to. I mean, that one of those touchdowns, the Laporta touchdown, was him getting out of the pocket and actually going down when he threw that Laporta touchdown. But over the course of the game, like you said, you consistently put pressure on him. He's going to make mistakes because he is a good quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback. And they did that. They forced those 3 interceptions. Those were forced interceptions that he threw. And Washington did a good job. Obviously the fumble that they recovered by the pressure. Man, they did so much defensively and still gave up 31 points. Think about that. That's how good Detroit's offense is. That Detroit has 4 turnovers. Is it 5 turnovers or 4 turnovers? Whatever it was.
4 interceptions and a fumble, so it was 5 turnovers.
5 turnovers.
And by the way, Detroit beat the Houston Texans with 5 turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely. We ain't the Houston Texans, though. This is the Washington Commanders, and this team is poised to go all the way to the Super Bowl on February 9th in New Orleans, Louisiana. All they got to do is get by a one team they've already beaten and almost beat twice, or another team in the LA Rams that, as good as they are, ain't nobody scared of them. Clip that up,
man. Yeah, now we're gonna get clipped on there. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the Rams are a scary team, and I do think that they beat Philadelphia, but we'll revisit that on Wednesday's show. Franchise talk here. Been a fan of Ref the District for 3 years now, and man, it feels good to hear us talk about NFC Championship games right now. We appreciate you jumping on here, Franchise. It is fantastic to be talking about how Washington is headed to the NFC Championship game, and we hope that things are going to continue. We'll be talking about the future on Wednesday's show. You want to make sure you join us 7:30 Eastern on Wednesday for that one. You brought up the Goff to Laporta touchdown. That was just an insane play, and that was one of those times of the game where it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, Detroit's very good, so you can't let up. There was not a time Washington could let up. Often going for it on 4th down, Stoner. It actually felt a little weird that they pulled out Zane Gonzalez for a late field goal attempt, because it was kind of like one of those. That's a 4th and short. That's an enemy territory. Why?
I was surprised. I was surprised at that, to be honest, because you get that first down on that 4th down play. I mean, the game's basically over, right? Because I'll go look at how much time was left. So there was when he kicked that, there was 2 minutes and 31 seconds left in the game. and it was 4th and 1, Nathan. It wasn't 4th and 7. It was 4th and 1 at the 26-yard line, and they decided to kick a field goal. I don't think you can do that going forward. I thought they should have gone for it. There.
Doug, on the other side here, the field goal makes it a 3-score game, which makes it over.
What makes it over is a first down.
Yeah, both opportunities really put it out of there. I just felt personally it was out of character for Washington. The first field goal attempt I can understand, because it was just kind of it was like a 4th and 10, right, when we did the field goal here. It was a 4th and 10. It was a 47-yard field goal. Take the points, move along. That's fine. So early in the game. That particular time, you were going full throttle. Why not just step a little further on their necks at that
I think so too. But you can't. I mean, look. We're trying to find something, anything to be critical about, just because we can't be here all the time. So we're trying to find something. And if that's the worst thing that we can be critical of, then they're doing something right out on that field. What did you think of Detroit kicking a field goal in the 4th quarter? Now, at that time, it was 45-28, and they had a 4th and 8. At the 10-yard line. They were down 3 scores. They were down 17.
So that you need 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah.
I felt that was just fine. It was in retrospect, right? And when you're looking back on it, hindsight, it looks a little bit odd, but that's also because the play calling, the game management, the clock management, everything after that didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to go for it to get the field goal at the end, because you need the field goal and 2 touchdowns, then why were you calling the offense the way that it was after that? It felt very weird that they were just kind of, I don't know. It felt odd, but I felt like it's often in the case when you're down by 10.
Yeah.
So you need a field goal and the touchdown. If you get close enough for a field goal, just take the field goal and get the onside kick. Because if you go for the touchdown and you take off time, you still have to get the onside kick, and now you have to get in field goal range. So just leave as much time on the clock for the one when you need a touchdown. So it's one of those things.
Okay.
I'm just glad we don't have to worry about that, because Washington was the one that was up multiple touchdowns in this game. We talked about special teams earlier. Coaching did a great job. Everyone did a good job. So let's talk about. Didn't Trev say we needed to be up by 17 to be safe? Sean is asking. It was like 1 billion points, Sean. Both Stoner and Trev, when I asked that question, said that Washington needed to be up by 1 billion points. There was no league that was safe. And it felt good. 28-point quarter from Tommy here was crazy.
I mean, that was the Super Bowl quarter. Right? The Doug Williams Super Bowl
35 points in that quarter.
35 in that. Think about how insane that was. We just watched them put 28 up, and it was amazing. They put up 35 in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, Gus here. Jaden exposes coaches who rely on influence more than strategy. Aaron Glenn, a potential head coach candidate, known for blitzing, and kept coming after Jaden, and Jaden Daniels known for being good against the blitz.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely one of those things that maybe you just have to bite the bullet and say, we got to do something that's not necessarily what we're good at, but we know that we can make a stop. That's absolutely true here. Let's get to our segment, the no-gos and go-gos.
Yeah.
So this was a blowout victory by most measurements, Stoner. So I know it might be hard to figure out a no-go, but I'm sure we could have a few of our listeners today tell us, who is your no-go for this 45-31 win over the Detroit Lions?
How can you pick a no-go out of this? I'm trying to think of something, anything, anywhere that's a no-go, and I'm really not finding anything, Nathan. What am I going to say? Is Is the injury to Sam Cosmi a no-go? I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with. Everybody was fantastic. And again, even defensively, when they gave up 31 points, they were fantastic in this game.
5 turnovers. Yeah.
5 turnovers against them and had them in critical situations as well. So I don't know. I didn't see anything. Yeah, the Cosme thing, I guess you can say that. Missing a field. I mean, we're really, really nitpicking.
You're missing a field goal up already.
How many drop passes?
By 2 scores. So it was just kind of like, it was one of those. Yeah.
One drop pass by Diami? Did anybody else drop a pass?
So there were some missed targets, but yeah, I think that was the only dropped pass.
One. You have 1 drop. And now Detroit, I don't know if you saw that stat for Detroit, is they had 6 drop passes all year through 17 games, and they had 3 in this game. Yeah. That's pretty incredible too. They couldn't come up clutch when they needed to.
Game. Todd also calling out Payne and Allen. This is one of those things where you can't be a box score watcher.
Yeah.
Jonathan Allen's presence was felt today. I guarantee you. Deron Payne had a QB pressure. And so sometimes I know that we pay these guys a lot of money and you want to see the big impact plays. And there's definitely a reason why I think that we will end up moving on from these two at some point. Sure. Whether or not they finish out their contract and they sign somewhere else or they get traded away, that they're not making the big impact plays to get the price tag that they're getting, but they are doing things that don't necessarily get seen, and that is valuable. That is valuable.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a no-go, Nathan?
Yeah, I mean, Gus is talking about how that wasn't even a drop by Diami. The
still counts as a drop.
Knocked it out. Yeah,
technically it is, but yeah.
I think I might actually. So I hate it. I hate the injury. Cost me being injured it stinks absolutely. But I kind of like Drew's response here with Zane Gonzalez being the no-go because it just kind of killed the vibe, right? Like it was just kind of like you're up, you're just dominating. Everything's happy. You're like, oh, let's just kick this field goal because we're just dominating, and then you miss it, and you're like, oh, well, that kind of stinks. Like, give me another drink. Let's just keep going. Yeah. So I reluctantly give that over to how about this? The no-go. Actually, Zane, keep it. You have your fun, Zane. My no-go is going to be that awful call on face mask. That is going to be that drive. That drive was over, in my opinion. If they do not, So no-go for the refs and some of their dumb calls for both teams. And there were some bad calls there. Guy needed to save the flag because he could not speak. You could tell he had lost his voice cheering for Washington last week. And so that was an egregious call, though, the face mask, when it was nowhere near his face. Like, I don't know, like that is a full shoulder grab, and somehow it got a face mask. And Detroit didn't end up scoring a touchdown on that drive when it should have been, again, a situation where Jared Goff is forced to pass and he had not been up to it.
It would have been 4th and 5 if they had not called that penalty. And so I'm sure they would have gone for it, but still, you never know what that outcome would have been. So that was a big call.
All right, let's hear for our Go-gos. Now, for those who might be new to the channel, we have a Go-go, and we also have your Don't Sleep player of the game. So there's a lot of players you can pick here. I know Jaden Daniels is probably going to end up being the Don't Sleep guy, Stoner, but who is your Go-go for this? Because I know, and again, Jaden Daniels, Charlie here asking, do we think he's the best rookie ever, QB season ever? Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not even over. That's the thing.
It's still going.
That's the insane part. When you're talking about a rookie QB season, how great it's been so far is you got to realize that there's still games. And he also left some on the table.
Yeah.
Injured early in Carolina, didn't play a fourth quarter against Cleveland, only played a half against Dallas. This guy is fantastic, and it's a great time to be in the Washington onesie.
It's unbelievable.
Which, by the way, Still wearing the
Yeah.
same one since that Tennessee game because we haven't lost.
Haven't
We ain't
lost
gonna
it.
lose until next season.
Yes.
Let's go.
I believe
All right,
that.
let's hear those go-gos.
I'm sorry, Nathan. I know you don't like me doing this, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to say who are not going to be my no-gos, although they deserve it, right? Here's one that we haven't mentioned, and that's a good thing. But Lattimore.
Yeah.
Lattimore, we didn't see a whole lot of him because he wasn't getting burned like he had in previous games. Now, I noticed they were definitely playing a lot of zone defense out there. But one thing that gets overlooked about Lattimore, and people should kind of go back and watch this, he is a very physical tackler. And you'll see him on a lot of these plays making these big tackles and punishing tackles. He's not one of these cornerbacks that gets out of the way of tackles. He likes to go in and hit guys. And we didn't bring it up last week, but in that Tampa game, when Tampa had that drive, when they were trying to go down to take the lead, and it was that first play, they got 9 yards because Lattimore came up and made a big hit to keep them 1 yard short of the first down. Then you had Wagner with the second down play. Then you had the botched snap on third down, and they ended up having to kick a field goal. So Lattimore has been really good. I just want to say that he really, really redeemed himself in this game. So that's one guy who's not going to be my go-go. And one other guy who's not going to be my go-go is Diami. Diami really stepped up this game, and I won't go too in depth because we've already talked about it quite a bit. But my no-go for this game right there, keep that up there, Nathan, that Sean is saying, is Mikey Sanistru. What an amazing performance to have 2 interceptions, a rookie having 2 interceptions in a divisional round playoff game. That first one was massive,
big,
because it was at the end of the first half, and it was 1-on-1 against Jamison Williams. That was a massive play. And then the one on the trick play that they tried to do, and there was a flag, if you remember, and everyone was like, oh, they're definitely calling defensive holding or something. But Mikey Sanistru, a second-round pick that, by the way, don't forget, Adam Peters traded back to get him. Traded back with Philadelphia. Philadelphia went up to get a cornerback.
Cooper
DeJean, or Dijon, however you say his last name.
Might be Dijon. Doesn't matter. Plays for the Birds.
They moved back and got Mikey Sanistru and Ben Sinnott, which Ben Sinnott, that's a conversation for another day, right? But Mikey Sanistru is my go-go. What a performance by a rookie corner who is playing out of position.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the star, slot corner, and he's playing outside, playing against number 1s, number 2s, and shining. Absolutely, so that's doing some good things there. That's absolutely fair. I'm going to go with Armand here. Go-go is the O-line. Missing their best player.
Hey, Trent Scott was good.
Trent Scott going in there. That was actually somebody deliberately or separately calling Trent Scott out as the go-go as well. Let me see if I can't find that one again.
Nice.
But sorry, I missed that one. I did show it on the screen earlier. But yeah, Trent Scott filling in for Sam Cosme, the offensive line still just dominating. There was times there where Jaden Daniels just had all day to throw. One of the reasons we talked about how Coach Glenn might have just needed to sit there and realize we can't blitz the guy who's really good against the blitz. But the problem was when they weren't blitzing, they weren't getting any pressure.
Yeah.
And Jaden Daniels is eating them alive.
Yeah.
And so it was just like he was darned if he did and darned if he didn't. So it was just he had to take his licking. So he just ended up going with what they're good at, which is trying to throw pressure at the quarterback and hoping at someday this guy has to look like a rookie, right? And it just is not going to happen. It didn't happen today. And so that's where we're going to we're going to sit there with that. Was the offensive line. Great job. Luis going to give it to Eckler. and
Can't
Zach
argue.
Ertz.
Can't argue with you.
Plays by
Luis.
both of them. I shared with a lot of them up there. And before we get to our player of the game, we're going to talk about one of our players of the game. Not even the charge sound going there. P&W Trout Slayer. Thanks for being up tonight, Ref the District, to enjoy this exciting time with us. Hail to the Redskins. Fantastic having you on, P&W. Thank you to everyone coming and joining us here. Now we need to hear it loud and clear at the hour mark. Who is your Don't Sleep player of the game? Don't Sleep Energy is a local company, DMV. Celebrate them. Use the code DISTRICT over at don'tsleepenergy.com and get yourself all of your energy needs. We told you, do not sleep on these Washington Commanders. They were going to win this game, and that's exactly what they did. And you can do that with your Don't Sleep Energy. Use the code DISTRICT over at Don't Sleep Energy. Don't Sleep Energy. It makes you great. Who is your Don't Sleep player of the game?
It's easy. It's 5. I mean,
Jaden
what
Daniels.
a performance. I've never seen in my lifetime as a fan of football, and I've been around probably longer than anybody who's here in this chat and watching or listening, that I've never seen a player do what he's doing as a rookie. Never seen it in my lifetime. He was 22 of 31 for 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. He had a QBR of 91.8. That's absurd, Nathan. That's out of 100. A 91.8 out of 100. That's as close to perfect as you can get. And then he added on the 16 rushes for 51 yards. He toyed with the defense all night. He did it on 3rd down. He did it on 4th down. He did it with his arms. He did it with his legs. He was calm. He was cool. He never had a bad pass. He never had a bad decision the entire game. What a masterclass performance. It's probably, he was great last week. It's probably the best game I've ever seen a rookie play in the playoffs. It was so impressive. And we can talk about all these other things that helped him. The coaching, the offensive line, the running backs, the Diami catching a pass he didn't even see, the defense helping him out with all those turnovers. But what he did out there all by himself was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. And damn it, aren't we lucky to have Jaden Daniels on our football team? It's incredible.
It's a fantastic time being live. I would challenge anybody who's, again, if you go back to the never watching football in your lifetime and you turn on the TV and you try to explain that this guy wearing number 5 in burgundy and gold is doing this for the first time in his career. Like, this is the first divisional game that he's played against, a number 1 team on the road. No one will believe you that he is a rookie. He does not play like a rookie. We go all the way back to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who were glazing, as the kids would say, Bo Nix. And then realizing, oh, wait, Jaden Daniels is too. Well, Jaden Daniels doesn't play like a rookie. So Bo Nix is the best rookie we've ever seen. And it's just like, that's how good he is that people have to make this, they have to do these gymnastics to be like, well, he's not really a rookie. He was in the college until he was 24 and he was, 5 seasons, all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. We are very lucky, and he is absolutely our don't sleep player of the game. We got some Detroit fans still talking trash, and I love it. Bring it on. We love the Fredling banter here on Ref.
I mean, why do they care what we do next week? Their team is not playing. Yeah. I wouldn't have gone to Detroit places and said, hey, you guys are going to lose next week. You're not that good. Who cares? Care about your own team and what's going on there. Care about your coach crying on the podium. Care about your quarterback who maybe ain't all that. Maybe he is a system quarterback and And when you look to the other side and see what Jaden Daniels is doing and saying, we need a guy like that on this team. Maybe worry about what's going on in your own house.
I had put in the chat here, I said, keep talking that smack. You have all the time in the world now that your off season starts, and the window. Right. Someone had mentioned this earlier. The windows are so small to win a Super Bowl. Detroit looking one of those franchises we were looking up to, right? This is what Washington would like to do, is turn things around the way that Detroit has. Detroit may lose one, if not both, coordinators in the offseason.
Yeah, that's a
you
big
said
deal.
About Jared Goff, maybe not the answer. Like, they're going to have to start paying these players that are fantastic, and they might not have it. And so, like, that's how windows close. Washington's window is just now opening with a rookie quarterback, $100 million in cap. This is going to be the worst this team's going to look in the next 5 years. And we're still dancing. We're still dancing after beating the Detroit Lions in Detroit 45-31. Before we close out today, JG, I'm going to give you a last shout out for this comment here. I'm glad to have a post-game show where B-Rob isn't being trashed. This came up in the Ref the District chat before the game. Chris Rodriguez was one of the people who was listed as inactive. And we called it out. Stoner, you said the C-Rod truthers are getting mad. Yeah. We all know I'm one of those guys who said we probably need to see a little bit more of C-Rod. I'd probably take him over Jeremy McNichols, but Jeremy McNichols did get a touchdown today, so I'm going to give him his kudos. Jeremy, good job. But, C-Rod inactive. I said before the game started, B-Rob needs to have a game to shut them up. Yeah. And B-Rob did that. 15 carries, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day, looking nice and fresh. Amazing. And I don't know why Washington moved away from him and started running more Eckler and McNichols. Yeah. Maybe it was to keep him fresh with the game starting to get out of hand. But B-Rob, you did your part today. Definitely want to give you some kudos there. And I want to give everyone kudos for sticking up with us this late and an extra late show. Make sure you hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with your friends so that way they can join us live. We'll be back live on Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you join us there. The Washington Commanders in the NFC Championship game. Let's go! Absolutely. I'm Nathan. That's Stoner. We're brought to you by Don't Sleep Energy and Bet Online. And until next time,
we deserve this.
Be a fan.